It's time!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
Right, Chris.
All right there, how the devil are we? Good evening, one and all, from me and Mini-Me here. Oh, what a game. Well, it was a free hit for me. I was proud of the lads. I thought they did us proud. I mean, we'll go through it in a minute and we'll look at sort of some of Manchester City's other games this season. There's not many teams will entertain or go to play Manchester City this season and only lose by not just the odd goal, but, and credit where credit is due, a superb strike. You know, I mean, let's be honest with you, as Leicester fans, if that had been Maddison or if that had been Tielemans, we would have been screaming from the rooftops. It was, nobody was stopping that. Somebody in the watch along was saying, oh, Casper would have got it. No, he wouldn't. No, that was, anybody would have struggled to get that. But hey, there we go. Do what it says there, please. Click that subscribe button if you are new. If you're not new, as I always say, please smash the likes button. That helps my algorithms, and at my age, my algorithms are very old and creaky, so any help is much appreciated. I think I'm about 9 off the 1,500, which I wanted to get to by the World Cup. So if you are new, please do subscribe. Gray's back. Good evening. By God, Gray. I see you more than I think you see your wife. Too many disillusional Foxes fans saying second half we should have attacked Man City. You can't. You're quite right. You can't go toe-to-toe with them. They don't understand football or are very naive. It's opinions, Gray. It is opinions. In my opinions, it's like me going saying, right, I'm going to go and fight Mike Tyson and go toe-to-toe with him. It can't be done. It can't be done. Brendan got the tactics spot on. I haven't got a complaint on that game. I don't know whether my co-colleague will do or not. Let's get him in and have a look. Also known as Daniel, but today he's back to Brad. Good afternoon, Brad. That wasn't a bad performance, was it?
No, it wasn't a bad performance because it was a really good performance. It was 99 out of 100, really, for me. And the obvious missing mark is one error, one very rare error we actually made today on the pitch. Unfortunately, cost us a bit of brilliance, but we've just stopped arguably one of the best teams that play football entirely, not just in the Premier League, but entirely. You could argue that they'd be pushing that bracket for top world-class sides. We've just stopped them scoring from open play.
Yes.
You know, I'm not going to begrudge it. If that's what it takes to beat us today, that's that free kick going top bins like that, then
yeah,
you have to take it as it is, because honestly, that was near perfect for how you deal with Man City, in my opinion.
Yeah. Belinda, Gray's wife, Belinda's wife says, hi. Hi, Belinda. How the devil are you? Come on, Arsenal. That's all I'll say to you, Belinda. I hope I've got the right wife now.
That's something you didn't think you'd say, did you?
No, well, I believe Gray's wife is a Nottingham Forest fan, but I suddenly have this horrible feeling in my gut. I may have got wives mixed up here. I apologise if it's not you, Belinda. If you are the Nottingham Forest fan, come on, come on, Arsenal. That performance was better than Dortmund in the Champions League. And like Terry said, whoever thought Casper would have got that, yeah, the gentleman concerned was maybe not, Brighton 3, Chelsea 0. Good God. Yeah, I mean, Casper was never going to get that. Oh, yeah, I've got the right wife, thank God. When I say I've got the right wife, I'm digging this hole very big for myself here. I don't mean that I've got Terry's right wife. I mean, I'm just the right wife generally. I'm not saying Terry's got more than one wife. Should we move on? Can we move on, please? Look, let me just go through these results, because this is what Manchester City have achieved this season. So if I just bring the right page up, because I don't want to know what West Ham did. Where are we? Here we go. Fixtures, no results. Yeah. So they started off with let's go right back to the bottom. They've done it. They started off with a 2-0 win over West Ham. They then got a 4-0 win over Bournemouth. They then got a 3-3 draw with Newcastle. They then beat Crystal Palace 4-2. They then beat Nottingham Forest 6-0, Belinda. They then, fair enough, drew 1-1 with Villa. They put 3 past Wolves, 6 past Manchester United, 4 past Southampton. Yes, they lost to Liverpool. They put 3 past Brighton, who are beating Chelsea 3-0 now. And they only put 1 past us. And it was, like you said before, Brad, it took an amazing goal. I'm proud. I'm proud of the lads.
Yeah, and you know what? I can't, obviously, the result, you look at the result, I can't help but feel that I'm slightly a bit baffled in myself, but I'm also gutted we didn't come away with the result that kind of matched the defensive job. I get that some fans are a little bit there going, oh, maybe if we'd just done that from 60 minutes and not 70, 72 minutes. But honestly, Man City, we know, are a different breed. You could talk for hours about the talent they've got within their squad, because there's that many of them. You'd have to be talking for hours. And to put in a display like that, you have to try and get something from Man City. You have to play smart football. And it's not going to be most eye-catching. And it was a bit rough around the edges when we did get into them attacking areas, which is probably the only slight blemish on our efforts today. But you manage that game for 90 minutes. I honestly don't think if they score that free kick, they go on and get a goal anyway. No. I don't think that. I think we would have seen that game out to a 0-0.
If we and we'd have both got a point then in the prediction.
Yeah, we definitely would have.
But we didn't crumble at 1-0 down. No. I mean, Doug's just popped in, who was obviously watching it along with me. And from a neutral point of view, yes, we did what we had to do. And, I was calling out for Iheanacho to come on and go 2 up front, whether that was with Vardy or as it turned out, Daka. But you can't do that against this team for 90 minutes. You've got to get your tactics right. And in fairness, let's be honest with you, we're quick enough to criticise him. In fairness, Brendan got most of that right today.
Yeah, he did. Again, and it's out of his control, the little bit of lapse in concentration from Pepe Mendy when he first comes on. And that's God's law. But you're right, we didn't crumble. And not only did that, we still went about our business. Digging deep, try and be a little bit more careful on the ball. And to a degree, we started being a little bit more careful on the ball when we switched it up. But the idea was, you could see the game plan, couldn't you? You could see that it was tactical. It was something they planned for each occasion and outcome. Because as soon as it went 1-0, you want to instantly go down the other end and try and pepper their goal. You don't do that against Man City unless you're someone of a, in a better position, maybe better.
It makes me think of kamikaze pilots from
Yeah,
Japan in the
because
World War. If you do that,
because you could get that goal. You're right, but then Man City could massacre you, getting overconfident. You lose 3-1.
Yeah.
What Leicester did is they went right 49 minutes, 50 minutes, which by the way was the first time I knew Man City fans actually turned up to the stadium. I had, but we'll probably touch on that. But the thing was, then you've got to keep yourself in the game. And Leicester did that, and that's why they created the chances. We really frustrated Man City.
Yeah.
And that was the most pleasing thing about the whole performance, despite, unfortunately not getting any points as a reward from it.
Yeah. And you were saying, I mean, that if I said it before, and people have said it in the chat, if that's Maddison doing that free kick or Tielemans, we'd be jumping up and down, swinging our knickers in the air. Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing free kick in off the post, but it was like Maddison's free kick from the other week. But we frustrated them so much. I mean, I said during the watch along, I've got to say good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, depending on what it is over there, to the Bronze Plumber. Nice to have you back in, Bronzy. Not seen you for a while. Hope you are well. Grealish's girlfriend must be the happiest woman on this planet, because I've never seen a man go down as much as him.
No, and he didn't half get some stick for it, didn't he? And Leicester really...
Well, I can't tell because I've got no sound, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, I can tell you the fans really got in on him and were cheering every tackle on him. They were... I mean, when Marty won a goal kick out of a deflection off him, clearly off his shin it was, but it was brilliant. The cheers went up. And Leicester picked it. Leicester exploited it as a weakness, or at least they tried to as often as they could. He was rattled. He was a bit disconcerted. And in the first half, look, credit for him for his finish, but De Bruyne was a painted and frustrated picture in that first half. I mean, I know we'll probably talk about them later on because they had a couple of really good chances in that first half, but I don't remember Man City have a clear-cut chance inside the box after them. First half chances, to be honest with you. A lot of frustration came from what we've been saying has kept Leicester getting 3 clean sheets in the last few games. And that is, they frustrate you to shooting from distance. It's like, if you're going to score from that, then fair play, because if it goes in, like Tielemans did for us against Wolves and like De Bruyne's free kick did today for them, then you've got to take your hat off and go for it. Well, I'll take a loss like that if I'm good. If I'm forced to see my team lose a game, I never want to lose, but if I'm going to see them lose, I don't mind that effort.
I was worried. We discussed this, I think, last night, that we could have done without Manchester City today. We could have done with probably next week's game this week, because we've just come off 3 good results, against bottom half teams, but those are the games you want to win more because they mean, it's like 6 points. But, we didn't capitulate. We didn't have an Arsenal, a Brighton, or a Spurs. I mean, I just went all through those results with Man City and we kept them to 1-0. That keeps our confidence going in my mind. Newcastle have just gone a goal up against Villa. So I can say, to me, the lads come off there and Brendan should have nothing but praise for his players.
Yeah, how you say it's well, what's the expression? How you say it? Yeah, I was going to say it was the best of a worst case scenario for Leicester in that sense, wasn't it?
But it wasn't even. We've said this. It wasn't even a goal from open play.
No,
you can blame. Does Mendy make that mistake if he's been on the pitch for 45 minutes?
Probably not, because no one else really made that mistake throughout the game that were on for 45 minutes. It's one of them. At the end of the day, you give Kevin De Bruyne that free kick, 9 times out of 10 he's probably hitting the target, but I reckon maybe 2 out of 10 he puts in, because he's really good, and that's probably a good conversion rate. You'd say, having that in, I would say he'd be expected to put 90% of them on target and make it a challenge for the goalkeeper. It's just one of them. At the end of the day, like I said, if that's what it takes for one of the greatest current sides in playing football at the moment, and they are, You can say what you like about how they've done it, how they've got the money. Take that aside, on a footballing basis, the quality they've got, they didn't score from open play. And on another day, we'd be going, wow, we've just now got, we've been saying, there's only Crystal Palace, there's only Nottingham Forest, there's only Leeds. That was Man City. Barring that, we've just shown the statement for where we are defensively, how dramatic we've improved. Like you said, Chris, from 5-2s, 6-2s, 4-2s, 3-1s, and whatnot.
Just catch up on the half times here. Wow, Bournemouth 1, Tottenham 0, Brentford 0, Wolves 0, Brighton 3, Chelsea 0.
That's
Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 0, and Newcastle 1, Aston Villa 0. We are still in 17th at the moment because Wolves, I think, are drawing. Terry, you were not the first to say it because it was said by the BBC along the lines of no Haaland, still a goal or something like that. The BBC may be turning into Sky with the love of these players. Okay. I know you don't like stats, Brad, but I do. And I'm just going to quote you this stat. And it's a good stat in a way. At the end of the day, we came back into that late in the game. We had 10 shots, but this is Manchester City, arguably one of the best teams in the world. They had 15 shots, 5 were on target.
Yeah, and again, it was the same with Wolves, wasn't it? The other week. Again, we won convincingly and we're in control of it. And that you've pretty much seen, the love it or hate it side, the Marmite side, if you want, with Leicester with some fans. And again, I understand we always want to see positive football, but we do have to remember it's about managing 90 minutes. And I'm sure Brendan wanted to see a bit more on the aggressive front from us, whilst we were trying to contain them. But you just take that performance as a whole, and it's just a really good all-round performance. And you show where we're making them take their shots from. Like I said, Ward made probably 3 saves. I mean, the one that was ruled out for offside, that was like Casper, the way he reacted. He didn't know it was offside. And I tell you this now, I don't know if you saw it, but I got a replay. Had that gone in, VAR would have overruled it. So that was a brilliant save by Danny Ward, the one that it was flagged for offside. So, yeah, he was actually onside. I can't remember if it was Justin on the left that was playing the defender on, but it would have actually been given because he looked onside. So, you take them chances. De Bruyne edge of the box, Silva edge of the box, blocks coming in as well. It wasn't like they were peppering Danny Ward and he was pulling, 8, 9, 10 saves because, like you said, only 5 on target.
That reminds me of and good evening to Anthony. Welcome along, sir. You better do us a favour tomorrow, mate, and beat Forest. Otherwise, I'm never going to talk to you again. Look, it reminded me a lot of the Martin O'Neill sort of defending. We were putting our body on the line.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen who the man of the match is from Alan, and we'll come on to that later. Yeah. I tell you what, Marty had a fucking good game, and surprised to see Soyuncu in the starting lineup, and we'll come to that next. But all three centre backs had an amazing game.
Yeah, they did, and it's credit to our defence. And people say that maybe Brendan has lost a thing, but this is where Brendan's proven his worth. We asked Brendan to prove his worth when it started really badly and we were getting hammered. But if you can't improve on the pitch, you improve the backroom staff. People have been crying out for that, and he's done that. And it cannot be no coincidence, Chris. I'll take a breath. Because what you're about to hear is me quoting a stat. Because I've just worked out the maths. Chris, I can't believe I'm doing this, but this tells you, those that have been saying it's only this, it's only that, and taking today's account. Since Leicester have brought in their set-piece coach, right? I think the De Bruyne goal was timed at 49 minutes, I believe. Because if it wasn't, then my maths is wrong. But Leicester at home went 318 minutes before conceding a goal.
Yeah.
That includes 3 draws and obviously ending that against Man City. I'd take that in. For those that want to say it was only them, it was only that. A team that conceded, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 goals in 3 games, went 318 minutes and were beaten by a brilliant dead ball to end that run. Otherwise, there'd be obviously another,
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Let me quote this back at you then. 10 corners in that game.
Oh, we're playing tennis. I love it. Go on, Chris.
9 corners against Wolves. That's 19 corners in 2 games, not 1 goal conceded.
And you know what? It kind of breeds confidence because you look at the way it's taken from it. How many times have we seen Leicester kind of win the ball in their own box and then fuck around it because they don't want to just put it out because they were scared of a set piece? And we were getting frustrated. We're like, get it out, clear it. And you could see the panic in the players. Again, it shows the difference in the mentality. You've got to give credit to the backroom staff, including Rodgers. You've got to give credit to the backroom staff for this. Obviously, the players take it to take on the mental challenge. But the fact that they always spoke that they believe they'll turn this around, and there's still a long way to go, and we're not out of trouble by any means. And it's, it's the consistency of the performances and the way they've improved. They were happy to take a tackle and put it out for a corner. They were happy to slide in and try and get a throw in. It wasn't an issue. They didn't see it as a threat. And it sounds silly, but if you look at how many corners we were trying not to concede compared to how many we've been conceding, it shows they're more committed because they're not afraid to give away that set piece. And today we dealt with them with ease. I mean, we cheered Ward going out of his 6-yard box. He had all the time in the world to come and collect a few of them today, and that is so pleasing. And that's the real pleasing thing about Leicester at the moment is we're being rewarded for being quite shrewd in our recruitment in terms of if we can't do it on the pitch, we're still doing the best recruitment in our backroom staff, and they really do take the plaudits for this transformation in our backline defence.
I mean, we're going to lose him during the World Cup, obviously. He's off to the World Cup with America, but it'll be warm weather training, I've been told. So
you're going to miss players. It's a different ball game. It's a different kettle of fish. The training.
Oh yeah, no, I'm on about the set piece coach, obviously. Yeah. But I mean, well, let's have a look. I can't unfortunately bring it up as a slide, so I'm going to have to do it this way and hide our beautiful faces. But this was the team. I mean, it was 5 at the back. There's no doubt about that. I know some channels had it as 4, but it was 5. Nice to see Soyuncu back, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brought out of the cold, if you will. Shows the ability to use your squad in this situation. I actually think, again, that was a smart move. I know a lot of people, maybe given Soyuncu's situation as well, but most people probably heard Brendan's press conference were expecting Evans to be in, and maybe even Ndidi. And I know we'll probably get to that in a second as well. But I thought it was best for Evans to kind of, with the greatest respect, take the free hit that Man City is and ended up being, and let him get extra rest, let him get extra recovery. And then if we want to, and then, but he might not get back in. That's the thing. That's the performance now. I would not. I can safely say, come on, next game, I am not overly forced out of them who he picks and if he sticks with a back 3 or a back 2, because the way they've played recently, I've got confidence in all of them again, and it's nice to have that confidence. Yes. And maybe I'm getting a bit carried away, but I think the last few results have really been that turning point in the season, and it's
Faze, we know how good he is.
Oh,
but I'm going to have to give this guy a shout out. Like I've often said, he was my most improved player last year. I had to go at him early doors, but he was being played on the wrong side. Now he's been moved over more, well, definitely to the right. If there's a 2 of them, him and Faze, Amarty's on the right. Here he was on the right of the 3. What a game he had.
Yeah, he did, Chris. And, he was reminiscent of him last season. He looked so calm and composed. And again, I've stressed this point. It's, playing the same record, but it goes credit to his teammates because they're the ones that make him. We've said it all along. And Martin needs a leader. When he's got a leader, it's like his spirit leaves his body and he's someone else on the pitch. Like something else takes over him because he was so composed. He wasn't rash. He tracked well. He read the runs. He read the danger, and it was calm as personified by the back three. And I know we're talking to Marty here, but I had some moments where, wow, Fez was urging the team on. He was commanding. You could hear his voice. I know you didn't have the, for obvious reasons, you didn't have sound on, but he was loud. You could hear him, and Marty was the same. And again, football's a funny game, isn't it, Chris? Because before Forest, I'm sorry, Luke, but I have to admit it because that is when it started. Despite what happened against Bournemouth, you just see that difference, and it just shows you what a result can do. And normally, when you suffer a loss, you think, oh, well, that was a nice little run. Now they're going to be back down. That's probably the like I said, it's the best of a worst scenario for them because that's probably actually boosted their confidence to go, you know what? We deserve something from that game, and we know now we can do the defensive press against the right teams.
Soyuncu, I mean, he probably won't be in the team next week, but looking at his performance, I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't be. I thought he had a very good game.
Yeah, he did. And we could gossip about, the gossip, if you will, around Soyuncu. He lose his head, let the transfer talks and rumours swirl, get in his head. Did he, we know he wasn't happy that he was playing games 65, 70% fit. And I know that Leicester couldn't help that situation and desperately needed him to. And I think maybe being out of the team and being told, you know what, you're not holding your position just because you had a good couple of seasons. You were poor this season. You need to be taken out. And Marty's done a good job. I'm not gonna, instantly just shun him out. I think he's making the most of his teams, and he put in a performance. Personal reason, whatever, to try and manufacture a move. If that's his attitude to do it, I'm all for it. If this is the return of Soyuncu and they've made up, then brilliant. Even better. He'll get game time playing like that. That's for sure, and that's what I like to see. In a way, I said it, didn't I? I think on one of the shows, the blessing in disguise could be not having the funds to go and improve the team. He's got to use the 25-man squad.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I have called. I want to see FaZe and Soyuncu together in a back four, if you like, and them two as centre backs. But I don't think I could drop a Marty now.
I don't think you could. And that's a great headache. You ask any manager. It's tough to make the call because you're going to have to, pick up one of your players and say, look, you're blind and it was hard to, it was hard, but I'm going to a back two, so I have to lose one of you. But it's a nice headache to have. You'd rather go in there going, oh God, who am I taking out of this team? If we go to a back four against, it's Everton next, isn't it? I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Who am I taking out for Everton if I go to a back four? That you'd rather that than going, oh God, who am I going to
yeah. Just to say, what a day of football this has been. Bournemouth 2, Tottenham 0 now. Wow.
You love Spurs, so Spursy, don't you?
Now, Ray said this at the end of the watch along, and I gave my response to it. So I want your thoughts on this. Ray says we could have beaten them if we went two strikers up front.
I get it. The dramatic shift from holding on and keeping ourselves in the contention to what wasn't a mass flurry, but was definitely seemingly a lot more front play. Created a hatful of chances in that 15 minutes. But that was the plan, Ray. The thing is, what you have to remember is it's all well in hindsight saying, oh, well, if we'd have done that 5 minutes earlier, we might have nicked a goal. And we might have, or we might have still lost the game 1-0. The thing is, we've seen before you have to manage your situation as well as who you're playing. And when Leicester have been in good form and have been up there, we've seen that they've beat them. We can beat Man City, and we know we can beat Man City. But Man City are fighting for another championship. They're in red hot form. They rarely make mistakes or drop points, but we always felt we had a chance. And to do that, you've got to manage what's in front of you. And to be fair, if you look at Man City's chances, like we've already stated, they didn't really have that many clear cut. And when they did, fantastic Danny Ward, the worst Premier League goalkeeper to a few 4 weeks ago, it, kept us in the game. And we nearly took our chances. If we'd have been a bit more smoother in front of the goal, we would have got a point from that game. Yeah. And it's great in hindsight, but I think had Daka headed that one anywhere else, had Madders been allowed to turn the defender and get his cross, and we might have nicked one in the 93rd minute. 3 minutes, a bit short, but I'm not going to do a clock, don't worry. It's just one of them. Unfortunately, we didn't get the rub of the green to get something.
Havertz has pulled one back for Chelsea, but the three Brighton goals, 2 of them have been Chelsea own goals. Wow.
Well, Chelsea will come out and say they won that game then.
Yeah. Vardy, 20 minutes in, he hadn't had a touch. I mean, I get Vardy being on because he does like playing against Manchester City, but we're not getting the ball to him.
But you don't when you play like that. You have to, again, you have to take your perspective when you play Man City to every individual and what we're used to and what we have to expect them to do in this game. And the expectation was clear. And yeah, Leicester didn't do it that cleanly in the first half. There was a few missed opportunities to break away with stray passes or getting a ball stuck underneath the feet. And we understand that. You have to give credit to Man City. It's why they're such a quality side. But the plan was clear. And whilst we're used to Vardy running teams ragged, you're going to struggle to do that. You have to play the Man City quality they are. And right now, they're an aggressive side that like to flood you with chances and break in behind your line and attack, getting behind your defensive lines. And they struggle to do that, to be fair to Leicester's defence. They really struggled for good parts of that game to get in behind our lines, not create chances much. But Leicester broke away, and the idea was break quick, make a mistake, which we did. They made mistakes to give us chances to capitalise on getting behind their defence line as quick as possible. Just didn't work out for Vardy today. But you know what Vardy's capable of, and that's what we needed to expect from Vardy, and he did what he could, knowing he's going to get limited service.
Do you need an Inacho on there then with him to fill that gap between the midfield and him?
I think that's why you've got Maddison there, because Iheanacho essentially takes that role alongside Madders when he does that, because he is the defender, he is the striker we know that can come deep, he can collect the ball, he can drive. He's actually developed as a striker over the years, and it's nice to see him to get minutes. First of all, I've got to say that. But again, you have to do that at the right time because you're sacrificing something to go for it. At 0-0, we didn't need to sacrifice anything to go for it. No. And again, when that's your plan, and it was a plan, the 3 ways Leicester changed throughout the game was a plan. And you only change that plan or shuffle around the order you're going to start doing things depending on the result. And when it's 0-0, no one was moaning. We were applauding them at half time. At best, like I said, with hindsight, you're saying maybe do 5 minutes early, but you're only appeasing those that just are a little bit more annoyed that we didn't get the point because we warranted it.
We did. I want to talk Newcastle.
Why, mate?
Why Newcastle? I want to talk Manchester City. Sorry. It's because I'm trying to... I've got 3 monitors here. I've got this one I'm on. I've got one here with the one up, and I've got BT on here. I can't multitask. I should stop trying. And talk one player in particular, Mr. Socks, which is my new name for Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Because somebody please buy him a pair of socks or make him a pair of socks that will fit him. Like I said earlier, he goes down, 7. He should be getting points for it, and he was screaming for everything. I mean, but to me, that's what Leicester did to Man City. They made them have to dive, have to go in for challenges. They were a dirty team today. They created more fouls than us. Tottenham have got one back. Sessignon just scored. But we were frustrating them so much. Kevin De Bruyne was arguing. Silva was arguing, but I don't know what it is about Grealish. I just want to smack his face.
Yeah, he has got a punchable face. I have to agree with that. Some players do. I don't mean that offense, but some players just have. I have a punchable face for some players.
Oh, well, we all do. Yeah, I know. I'm there.
Yeah, we did. We frustrated them again. Look at the chances they had inside the box compared to outside the box. And then when you look at them efforts, look at them were actually good efforts. I don't honestly, apart from them 2 chances in the first half, I do not remember Danny Ward having to make a uncomfortable save. No. I really don't, and that shows the level of commitment and to the plan today. And I'm going to keep using that word. And so it was, the timing, the way they did things, that was drilled into them to do certain things at certain points in the game, score dependent. And De Bruyne, like you said, he was chucking his toys out of pram. He took many a shot today, especially in that first half, out of frustration, in the hope more than anything. And we got under their skin. And there's probably a few Man City fans, and we know a few, we saw a few, we heard the voices murmur around that were thinking before the game. They weren't that confident, were they, Chris? Just a handful, mind, but there was a few supporters feeling a bit uncomfortable about playing Leicester with given recent results. And I bet they're sat there now, probably doing a match review like we are, going, yeah, we won the game, but credit to Leicester. They really made us work hard for it. I'd be remiss if there wasn't Man City fans, and that shows you, again, the efforts.
Yeah. 2 quick goals at the Community Stadium at Brentford. Brentford going 1-0 up. Wolves equalising 2 minutes later. So that's
Wolves have scored a goal. The apocalypse is on its way. That's it.
It's only the 6th this season. Let's not get too excited.
Who scored it? Costa.
It still keeps them in the bottom 3.
Well, yeah, that's what matters.
Like I say, I think, if you look at that Man City performance, I'm not saying we were the better team, but we had a game plan. He got the tactics right. And let's be honest with you, we've been quick enough to criticise Brendan, this season. Yeah. But he got things right. And, he did, what Forest did to Liverpool, which was, defend, get the coach out and park it on the pitch, and then try and hit them on the break. It worked for Forest. It could have worked for us. I mean, that effort by Tielemans again, that's what we're going to miss when he goes.
Yeah, but we knew that anyway. We scored some special goals throughout his career at Leicester, and Jesus Christ, a fingertip of material. Yeah. That's smacking the underside of the bar, and we're waxing lyrical of another fantastic goal. And talk about worked on there. That caught them well by surprise. They were not expecting that. And that's a nice, at first, and I don't know, maybe it's because I've been watching the old movies back in that and I'm watching the series, but I thought of Leicester just created their own little flying V of ice hockey. If you know the reference to the Mighty Ducks. I don't know if anyone else knows that.
Never watched Mighty Ducks.
Because the way they took that set piece, it was like they called Man City cold, and it's like, we're going to trick. It was maybe not the flying V, it was like Fulton. He has a rocket shot and he hits 1 out of 5 and they go in. And it was like they did that because they just laid it determined when it worked last time, mate. See if it'll work again. And it was so close to working again. Any Mighty Ducks fans will know who I mean when I say 1 in 5 for Fulton. But that's what I'm going to.
The way everything was going wrong for us at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And Burnley losing 1-0. And
we got to take one job.
Yeah, I know. But Tom Ince has scored. Good God. I just think at the start of the season, everything was going wrong. The visa, we couldn't get a recruitment guy. The performances, Ward and the defence. Is it now kind of the perfect storm coming back?
You definitely like to think so. They've not just laid the foundations, now they're starting to build on them foundations. We've been talking for a couple of weeks about small positives that you have to take with in regards to the performance at times, because they've been scrappy. Let's face it, they have been scrappy. We've had our nervous moments, but honestly, this was probably the least nervous performance I've seen in my back line. Against Palace and Leeds, you always thought, an Amati stray pass, or they're going to score. They score, they're going to get back in it, because we remember what happened at Brentford. We remember games gone by.
Yes.
But the calmness that's been relayed to us by the manager and the players in the press interviews over these positive results was shown to us today. And today I actually found myself quite enjoying it, especially in the last 10 minutes. I know we didn't get the goal, but I was actually normally I'd be like, oh God, here we go. Come on, just get to 80, 84, get to 85, get that time as close to 90 as possible. So I'm not that anxious if they get one back. Today I was thinking, you know what, they're out of ideas again. And they were out of ideas. They knew Leicester were going to have some form of pressure at the end. And they actually really didn't know how to stop it. You maybe thought we were only going to get one chance. We ended up having 3 decent chances to take the game. So, it's one of them. But you're impressed with it, aren't you? And that's the good thing.
We said, I think, at the start, and last night we certainly said it, and we said it a few times, but it was the performance that we wanted today, because we thought we were going to lose. If we hadn't lost or we'd got a point, it would have been a bonus. But the performance was there. Brendan got his tactic right for once. He got his substitutions right for once. And I'm not blaming Mendy. Mendy's come onto that pitch cold. He's only been on a few seconds. And he does that. Like I said, I don't think he does that if he's been on the pitch 45 minutes, No. Surprise no Samori. I'm guessing that he must have been injured because he wasn't even on the bench. But I said after Forest beat Liverpool 1-0, the confidence that will give them will mean so much more than if they'd just beaten Palace 1-0. Because they've gone, they're against that confidence is going. I'm almost like thinking, bloody hell, why have we got to stop for the World Cup?
Oh yeah, you can't believe you're saying that after how the season started. But yeah, it's always going to do that, and that's the thing about form in football. It's funny how it works. Yeah, obviously we'd be a lot more happier had we not conceded and taken a 0-0 or nicked the equaliser at the end there and coming up 1-1. But like you said, in defeat, when you can take away more positives than negatives from the game, you've done a lot right. And it's just, again, we knew we was going to be starved, and that's probably why we snatched it and we're a bit indecisive, especially I know we'll get onto the player ratings. I'm not going to be too critical of them, obviously. I felt like maybe Barnes and a few of us just snatched at them opportunities, but we improved throughout the game as well, and then our opportunities were more on target. They weren't the cleanest of chances, but on another day, certain deflections go a different way, and we get something. So
you mentioned him there, and I want to bring him up. Harvey Barnes.
You want to bring him up and raise him as your own?
Yeah, because he can keep me in the way to which I've become accustomed. But when you look at here, I mean, we've got to have a player that we want to hate, haven't we? And at the moment, it kind of seems to feel like it's Barnes in some ways. But he's got 2 goals in 2 games. He's going to feel confident in the fact that he can have a shot. And quite often he was there with the ball. And certainly on one occasion, and it was more than one, but this is one I can remember, Maddison was in the box, but there was 3 Man City players between Barnes and Maddison. So Maddison was never going to get the ball.
Yeah.
He could not get the ball to him. So it was a case of shot, see what happens, see who it hits, see where it ends up, and it might come off somebody's arse.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you don't buy a ticket, oh, Chris is cheering something.
Newcastle 2, Villa 0.
Oh, Unai Emery must be loving watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we must say good evening to.
Indeed.
But no, at the end of the day, we know Barnes is quality, and I'm not really, I don't want to be harsh after a performance like that. I don't want to be hypocritical because that's what they'll do. That's what they'll work on. But the thing is, yes, Gray, you are right. He does make some wrong decisions at times, and it can be frustrating. But sometimes, them shots curl into the top corner, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's the best thing we ever do, and that's what he's capable of. It's like Madders today. Did he have his greatest game going forward? No, not really. Yes, he had some pivotal moments where he got us on the front foot, but he also had some moments where he was a little bit behind the ball. He didn't quite get it work for him. He didn't quite get away, and we had to recycle it. Chose the wrong pass. It wasn't perfect by any means. I'm not deluding myself into the fact that it was a perfect performance, but the effort was top notch, and we've got to be looking at this and go, look, we've had games where we've scored a scrappy goal or two, but they've ended up winning us a game, even though we've not had a brilliant performance, and that's the joys and the downsides.
There was one cross that came in. I'm trying to remember it, but I think it was headed by a Man City defender. It hit the back of a head of another Man City defender and just went wide. Yeah,
it was stones on someone, and we've seen that before. That was probably the moment where I thought it's just not going to be our day. And you don't like to say that, but sometimes you get the feeling it's just not going to happen. For you're not going to nick that goal like we could have today. And like you said, that moment, all that would have needed was to hit his head on a slightly different angle, and it's pinging towards a goal. I'm not saying Anderson doesn't save her; it's going to go in, but it. And again, like I said, Man City ran out of ideas, and they actually couldn't stop Leicester creating them chances in that late period.
No, I mean, Bron. I mean, football is about opinions, and I respect everybody's opinion in here, whether I agree with it or not. The problem I have with Barnes is that like I've just said, then he's criticised if he's having shots on goal, and he's criticised if he's passing. Or why didn't he shoot? He was passing. The problem is the guy's got 2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, and look,
I questioned his. Why was he on the pitch against Leeds? I would not have picked him, but Brendan did, and he scored a goal, and then he went and got another one against Wolves. So why isn't he? Why shouldn't he have these shots? And like I say, it's all right saying, well, he should have passed, but who does he pass to?
Yeah, and look, you've got to remember as well, he's a left winger. And you look at left wingers that are notable left wingers in the Premier League, or wingers in general. Eden Hazard, Bale when he was here, when he was playing for Tottenham.
Yeah. Sorry,
there's another one that's
interrupt you very, very quickly. Woking have gone 1-0 up against Eastleigh. No, joking apart. Newcastle 3, Aston Villa 0. Joe Linton has
good evening. First of all, I'm getting sacked.
It was like, I think it was all after the Lord Mayor's show. Sorry, mate. Do carry on.
No, I'm happy to hear that news, mate. Makes me chuckle. But and you look at what they did, and there was another one that's left my head that was a winger as well. Sterling, that's it. It's Raheem Sterling. And your opinion stands on them is it doesn't matter really what you think of Sterling, Hazard, and that really, but what they did and contributed to a team is goals and assists. That's their job. They've got the same responsibility as a striker to be creative, to be that menace that finds a space, and instead of lashing the ball in, powering it past the keeper, they're there. Smooth finishes, the one that curl it in the top corner, out the reach the goalkeeper, the ones that side foot it in. and we've seen over many years we've scored quality goals like that from players that play like out wide, and that's what Barnes' job's to do. And again, it's hindsight, isn't it? Because if he kills that in, you're not moaning that he doesn't pass it to Maddox or square it to Vardy or whoever's in the box at that point. You're celebrating, and Harvey Barnes doing what he's supposed to do, and that's get a goal. And it's one of them that's, let's be a little, who thought you'd actually be sat here going, oh, I'm actually gutted we didn't get a result from Man City because we really deserved one. I didn't think that before kick-off.
No.
I didn't think come full time
watching it from behind the sofa.
I honestly thought we'd be sat here going, oh, well, we've done really well. We said it was a 3 hit, but Man City, what can you do? 3-0. I think a lot of people were expecting that to be the norm for this post-match. And here we are going, we on another day, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, totally. We didn't seem to have a threat coming down both wings. It was all coming down our left, but Castagna hardly got into their half at all. And I didn't feel there was really any threat down that right-hand side.
No, but then you look at Man City, and this is why Leicester defended deep, because Man City flood in numbers. They attacked on many occasions 6 or 7 from deep inside their own. There was that halfway line, but they'd have 6 or 7 players in close proximity of each other going forward. They're looking for you to try and panic. It was a game of who would blink first. And to be fair, in open play, Leicester never blinked. In fact, they outdid Man City in making them blink a few times because they stuck to that plan. They stuck to getting regrouping, not trying to counter press. They regrouped. They held their shape. They held the line. They charged out when they needed to. And again, Man City could have had the ball. I know I heard at one stage, especially I think it was in the first half, it was like 96% to 4. It was 0-0. And they weren't going anywhere with it. A lot of the time, Man City weren't going there with it. And like I said, until the 50th minute went, and it had been a full 60 seconds after they scored, I heard this strange noise come through my phone, Chris. And I looked left and I looked right and I looked outside. I thought it was chaos. And then I realised it was the Man City fans, because I did not hear them until they scored, Chris. And that tells you how frustrated they must have been or nervous they were as a fan base. I'm sure they were making noise. Again, I watched it. I wasn't there. But to not, as a supporter, when you watch it, maybe subconsciously you don't hear the away fans when they're just making their regular noise. But in terms of making themselves sound loud and hearing them, I didn't hear anything from them. And you felt that in the performances. We've already talked about the frustrations of De Bruyne, the frustrations of Silva. That they came off relieved with that, I think, today. I'm sure they haven't, I'm sure Pep Guardiola has laid upon complacency and not being able to break down Leicester from open play, because they didn't, did they, in the end? They didn't break us down from open play. No,
not at all. Bournemouth 2, Tottenham 2.
No, Bournemouth, you had one job.
Indeed. Look, let's, where are we? Let me just get rid of this and that. We're going to have a look at the player ratings and man of the match, and we will do that straight after we've done this.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Indeed. We're at the bottom. Oh, hello.
Hello.
I wondered where we'd gone.
There we
are. We're back. Alan Bennett, man of the match, always picks his man of the match. He goes to every match, so he sees it. So I will never argue with his man of the match. He sees a hell of a lot more than we do all on the telly or listen to. And he went for this young man for the second week in a row, Yuri Tillemans. Not sure that I would have given it to Yuri, but like I say, I always defer to Alan, being at the match and actually seeing it. Would you have given it to Yuri?
I mean, first of all, I want to say that there's a number of contenders from this, and I think there's going to be a number of players put down in the chat. I think there'll be 3 or 4 names probably mentioned, as well as Yuri, and who I'm going to say was man of the match, because, listen, he had a great game, Yuri, but this man, and I've said it a lot, and I know I'm probably boring people there, but this man just shows that one thing we are consistent at is getting a fucking centre back in over these years. Because Wout Faes, however you pronounce it, my apologies to those that are typing on the keyboard. He said Wout, not Val. Faes. He just epitomises this club with his attitude, doesn't he, Chris? And his commitment. You know, it wasn't until the 70th minute when we made them changes, but the second them changes were made, bang, that tackle was flying in. Bang, he was driving the ball forward with his feet, and he was gliding through the pitch, Chris. He was gliding through the pitch. You know, I know we don't mention his name because he's like the Voldemort of the world for the way he left us and whatnot, but a replacement for that 75 million French flop, flop Farner, you know, boy, oh boy. I'm just ever impressed with me. And today when he was, you know, the crowd started to motivate, they sensed the change.
Wasn't his dad Philip Flop?
Yes, it was. And he had a dad called Clip Clop.
That's it.
Yeah. But wow, that's for me. And I know I might be a bit biased because of how well he's hit the ground running, but he just epitomises Leicester with his attitude.
Oh, Newcastle are just having a great day out.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Oh, Aston Villa. I mean, this is just fucking their totally up their goal difference. I thought last week we got 4, brilliant. They're on -8 at the moment. That might be -9. And if I keep looking at
about -13 the way they're going,
I think the presenter on BT, she is actually a Brighton fan, and she did say she's got to be careful how she celebrates because her blouse is got poppers on, not buttons. So.
There'll be people searching for that if it happens.
Well, I have got it up purely because I was watching it from earlier, of course.
Yeah.
It's very nice. I've got to say, I actually agree with Gray here, and I'm going to go out, and I'm probably going to get absolutely slated for this, but today I would give it to Amati. I really, really would, because Faes, yes, he's good. I'm not denying that. Did he have a good game? Yes, he had a good game. But Amati's taken the stick and he's come back stronger. And, you know, so for me, it would be Amati. But, you know, hey,
you know what, Chris? It just epitomises what we said and we've said show. Yeah, Amati, Ward, Soyuncu,
any of them,
and again, like we said, we've already seen Faes, we've already seen Tillmans. You know, we've seen Amati. I'm sure there's going to be Soyuncu who get chucked out. I'm sure that satisfying result when you lose a game and you're struggling to pick your man of the match because it's such a good performance. It tells you lots of things.
Yes.
So
yes. But okay, let's have a look then. Let's do the ratings. The worst goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Danny Ward. I know. I love being smug about that. I'm sorry, I do. As a goalkeeper, I love being smug to say that.
I haven't got the smug. I don't think I've got the smug face handy.
That's a hard one. It's time for the smug face.
Doug agrees with me. He's gone for Amati as well.
I mean, to be fair, like, any one of them in the back line could do it.
Yeah, they could.
Danny Ward, calm, cool, and collected.
He collected most things that he came for, didn't
exactly. See what I did? Yeah. Well, see, I led you on something, mate. You really
did open the door for me for that one. Sorry,
she's not
popping yet.
I'm picturing you at him at the house, mate. That's how we work, teamwork.
You knock them over, I'll let them in.
Yeah, I mean, absolute command in his box. You know, we talked about things that Schmeichel has that Danny Ward doesn't. You know, in certain aspects, but he does certain things a lot better than Kasper couldn't. He commands his box a bit more from corners. He was not afraid to stand in between that penalty spot and 6-yard box. Kasper seems to allow them to close him round. His distribution, a few went wayward today. That's understandable to a point, really, with Man City's press and being a bit jittery on the ball. But more times than not, his distribution's great. Fantastic saves. I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to give him an 8 because, to the defence's credit that we're about to get to, he didn't have much to do, really, in a sense.
No, I was thinking, because I'll put my score on first, I think, if we go forward, and then
do it that way.
We'll leave yours in as the final say. But I agree. He just commands that. But he comes out, and there was a few iffy moments where you're thinking, like, when they were playing it about at the back again, you're thinking, this is fucking Man City, just boot it up. And eventually he did. But I'm so pleased. There's no way that he will come off that match thinking, oh, God, it's all gone wrong again. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And you can see there's trust backing him now because he has to earn that trust. It's not. Yeah. It was a given right that he'd get it for his performances when he's played. But Danny Ward has now. You can see by the way they shield the ball out, the way they protect him, because they track. And hopefully we can sort something out to do a tactical show. Because I'd love to talk about how they track and cover to help Danny Ward. The defense has been helping improve Danny Ward on that situation because he now looks like a Premier League goalkeeper.
Yeah, and we'll have a chat tomorrow about. I can't do it in the morning because I'm absolutely knackered. So I do a you and sleep through. But you need to have a practice with that thing that we've got, or find one. Now, here we go. I mean, I've just said about Amati, haven't I? For me, I give him a 9. To be honest with you. I can't speak highly of him enough in this game.
No, and I'm going to continue the smugness and continue the jokes that we made on from the worst goalkeeper that Leicester fans have ever seen to the worst centre back that most people have ever seen. And again, he needs the right sort of leader mentality alongside it. That's clear, and he needs to be played on the right side where he feels more comfortable. But when you do that, you get this Daniel Amati, and I'm going to agree with you, Chris. I'm going to say a 9's very, very well warranted and deserved because he had a very, again, like Danny Ward, he had a calm, confident, controlled game. He never looked under pressure, even when Man City pressed us when we were passing around the back. I didn't feel that unease.
Yes, yeah. Now, if I said to you, and you'll know the answer to this, who scored the most goals in the Premier League? As in team.
Man City.
Yeah, totally. 36 goals they've scored. The next highest is Arsenal on 25. So they are 9 goals ahead, and we limited them to 1 goal, and it was a superb free kick. So for my thing, I cannot give Face any less than a 9.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue with him that either. He's my man of the match, personally. It's tough to pick. Again, we're going to get on to the next one. It's probably going to be the same, to be perfectly honest with you. But this man just keeps impressing. He keeps impressing, and he's got that old 90s style about him, the way he goes in with a crunching tackle, but it's clean as well. And I know he's not always made a clean challenge, and he's, but yeah, he's just fantastic. And it's what we talked about. All Casper's gone, and I'm sorry to bring him back up for this part, but the one thing we were all talking about with Casper is, we've lost that voice. We lost that dressing room. And I know he's not captain, and it'd be ludicrous if you made someone sign to him and instantly made them captain when you've got the experience and captains around in that dressing room. But it's definitely one that you can see if he's still here in a few years' time, would be no question he'd get that responsibility chucked his way, because he just epitomises it. He read the crowd. He read the situation. He read the game plan. He knew when we was going to change it up. When we changed it up, the crowd started getting a bit more excited, a bit more, come on, we know what you're after. We know you can do this sort of thing. He was rallying them. He was waving his arms. He was clapping. He was patting. And one thing I saw today, we were patting our players on the back, despite the fact that it was 1-0. Even if we didn't quite get the corner or we didn't get the pass through, it was a pat on the back, it was clapping. And that was really good to see. And this guy, he could become a hero here at Leicester. Really.
I think so. Just an update: the poppers haven't popped yet. Just to let everybody know. Just in case you're wondering why my head keeps going to the left. Look, I think the sign of a good player is when we say who for his predecessor. And we said that about Maguire when we got Soyuncu. Like, who did we have here before? And I think we're going to say the same about Fofana. Don't get me wrong, as much as I hate the little French git, and I do hope he breaks his leg and can never play again. But I
passive aggressive, mate.
I'm sorry, but I just do. But we know he is going to be a great player for Fofana. Whatever we say, he's got the attributes to be one of the greats. He's also got the attributes to become one of the Balotellis of the world, of the football world. So be interesting to see which way he's allowed to travel, to go by his agents and friends and what have you. But I'm almost saying Wesley who? And and
that's brilliant, isn't it? It's that, and again, it's testament to what we do off the field. I mean, the one transfer we're able to do. It's the best piece of business, the best piece of business we were able to do, and it's paid off dividends. And again, the Leicester mantra to get quality for a reasonably priced. It's like getting a reasonably priced car, isn't it? We've got a star and a reasonably priced player.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously had all these people lined up that we wanted to go for. We couldn't because of FFP. We had, the money then from Fofana. We could go for one player. We knew a centre back was our priority, and by God, have we got a good deal there? So much. Now, I think we might disagree on this one. When I saw him in the starting lineup, and when I saw him, knowing it was against Manchester City, I thought, Brendan, have you thrown this guy to the wolves? Because if we get beaten 4-5-6-0, and let's be honest with you, on another day we could have done. That's how they are. They've been playing all season. Say 36 goals in 11 games. I really felt for the guy, but he never put a foot wrong. He probably had the quieter side of the pitch because it was all Grealish coming down the right-hand side, and we'll come on to Castagna in a minute. But I know that I actually said that Amartey was my man of the match, but because of the situation, I'm giving Cags 10 because it could have gone so tits up for him.
I think on that basis, on that level, you would. I think on a performance level, though, in terms of the job they did on the pitch, whilst I think it's a credit to him mentally and everything he's gone through, and the troubles he's had, no smoke without fire, he's had at the club, whether that's with Brendan or training or his own mental battles in terms of getting his head turned and his Euro performances, and it's taken effect on him. When given the chance, in that sort of aspect, I would agree with you on a 10. On the performance, I think they all deserve the fair score of the same, and I would say he's a 9. I think all three were so equal in what they did and how well they contributed to the game. And it's only fair that if you're going to give one a 10, give them all a 10. You give them a 9. You give them a 9.
No. I mean, like I say,
But I get it. I understand it. Yeah.
That goes up. I just think, like I say, for me, as an overall performance with everything else that was on his shoulders, and okay, We've all worked at some point in our life, and I've had my head turned by other jobs and thinking, I'm going to get this job, I'm going to get, and I don't for whatever reason. But we haven't seen what's gone on. at the training pitch. All I know is that he's not been a Wesley Fofana.
Yeah, and that's very positive.
You know.
And again, he's clearly had a knock-on effect, because regardless of issues or not, or whatever the reasoning is, and again, we could speculate until the end of time, whenever he moves or whatever happens with his career going forward at Leicester, at least, that's all we'll ever do. There's only probably the squad, maybe not even the squad, you don't know. Might even just be him and Brendan that know the exact truth of everything that's gone on. But it was good to see, and it obviously takes that he, believes in Leicester's form, was confident, and felt he could do a good job, and believed in his own ability, and that's why he got the nod.
He's played 2 games this season. All right, the first one was against Stockport County, but he limited them to 4 shots and no goals. And this one, and he kept the best strike force in the league. He kept them down to a free kick goal. So he was part. He not just him on his own, obviously, but he was part of that. And when you just look at that attitude, which you could argue was a bit like a Tielemans, when he's been asked to, he's come on and he's died for the cause almost. That's why I gave him the 10. But we will go with the 9. We will go with the 9 because,
I think if we was doing it on that, I wouldn't be disagreeing with the 9. Only with the 10. Sorry, the only reason I do is that I'm judging it on performance basis.
No. That I get that. I get that. Like I say, oh. Guess who's got a 92nd minute goal?
Harry Kane.
No, but the team is right. Bentancur has got a 92nd minute goal. Tottenham 3, Bournemouth 2.
Come on, VAR.
yeah. Come on, it's VAR time. This, isn't it?
Let them celebrate it for 7 minutes. Then just say there's a check. Go on, scare them. Even if it's not, even if it's nothing, just scare them a little bit.
But Brighton have got a 92nd minute goal as well. Brighton 4, Chelsea 1. Wow.
That's I can safely say that's a result that neither of us predicted.
No, I don't think there'll be many high scores on the old Premier League chart this evening. Look, Timothy Castagna, I'm going to give him 9, purely because he didn't come forward at all, but that was mainly because I think they were coming down that right side more. But he kept Grealish quiet.
He did. He had a solid game.
Grealish is probably, as a joke goes, he's probably still in his pocket at the moment.
Look, we know it's very hard to pick from Man City, which, a standout player, what you consider a danger man, because realistically they've got 5 or 6 in an attacking sense. They've got 5 or 6 and more on the bench. But in this game, you felt without Haaland, Man City were going to be reliant on getting the balls out wide, which is what they do. Again, the plan was to stop them coming through the middle, which is where they're probably the more deadly than they are out of wing width, to be fair. They're probably far more comfortable charging through Leicester than they were trying to go out wide. And to do that, you have to isolate their favourite side, if you will. And to do that, you need every defender on key. If I was to be hypercritical, he didn't get forward or wasn't able to get forward enough, but I'm not going to be hypercritical. I think he was honestly fantastic. And again, like the whole entirety of the back 5, he was calm, he was collective.
Yes.
And he made every other person's job easier, didn't he? Whoever got the ball or broke up the play or shielding the ball, you felt relaxed seeing them do it, and then everybody else was relaxed, and it made it easier. I think we're going to get, people are watching these are probably thinking, did Leicester win it? Did Leicester get a late equaliser or something? No, we lost the game 1-0, and this is how well they played defensively. That we're given 9s across the board.
Yeah, no, I agree. So you going 9 as well? Yes.
I can't disagree with you on it, mate, because the back line did its job. I mean, technically, they weren't beaten for a goal, were they? I mean, yes.
No. And I've got to say, he didn't get forward as much as he normally does. but you know, he was up against Grealish. In fairness,
and let's remember this game as well. There's one thing you got to take away about it from those that are still a bit negative, saying that we should have pressed more. We won't be playing Man City every week, so we'll get. And what I mean by that is we'll get more opportunities against other oppositions. Man City won't, don't allow that, and you've got to credit them as well. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. I've got a little message for Chelsea here. Sorry, Chelsea, 4-1. Hang your heads in shame. Potter.
Agent Potter strikes again for Brighton. He's still open winning. He's not even there.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those seasons, and, that's why, Joe Cole on BT said afterwards, he said, Leicester aren't going to go down. They'll be mid-table by the end of the season. And when you're looking at the way the results are going, it's just going all over the place, aren't they? It's weird. It's weird. There's been a couple of bad injuries, not going to lie, in the game. So a lot of them are not finishing. Tottenham have won 3-2 away at Bournemouth. Maybe the Bournemouth bandwagon has got its wheels coming off as well.
Yeah, well, I said that, didn't I, in the prediction show? I said the only worry I now have for Bournemouth is they've taken too long to make that next decision. The next decision is, right, who's our manager, and are you going to give this guy the job? Because the players start to wonder now.
Yeah, they do. They do. They want to.
They've got to give them something concrete. I know it's not really going for Wolves, although last I knew they were getting a point today. But at least they've made a decision. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry, I've got to do this as well. If I can just find it. We're going to do this one. Not a full-on laugh, but just a little bit of a laugh there. Coventry just lost to Blackpool too.
Oh, well,
So enjoy. And can I just say, I know she's not watching, but have a great holiday, Maisie. She's in San Francisco and then going off to Las Vegas. And I'm sure what happens over there will stay over there. But have a good time, Maisie. Have a good time. Now, if Terry's watching, Yuri Tillemans, I'm going to give him 1 today. No, I'm not. But I'm not going to go mad for me. Yes, he had that shot. Maybe it's because I expect high standards of him, but I would give him a 7 because in that first half, he wasn't allowed to get out of the defence and into the other half, but he wasn't doing anyway.
See, again, the thing is for me is I think it's not high expectation of Tillemans. I think it's what we expect Tillemans to do throughout the game. We expect him to be that ball-winning midfielder, but also cantering in behind Maddison, sort of as a second, as a true number 8. In terms of he'll get back and retrieve the ball, but he has it about him to drive forward and get him, and join Maddison with the cavalry. He brings the cavalry, doesn't he? That's his role. And again, Man City didn't allow that. You have to remember not just who we played, but they played in a way that didn't allow Leicester to spring that trap. They were, again, like I said, they seemed to get the ball at the edge of their own box, but their 4 defenders had 3 players or 4 players in front. So sometimes it was an 8 already going at Leicester, so they had to go and sit back. So you credit them for that. I'm actually, going to agree with you. I think he was a bit like Terry said, he was a little bit average at times. And again, you probably put the credit to Man City for not allowing Tillemans to have that free roam.
Yeah.
But you have to remember he did do the job defensively today, but maybe there was a few chances that first half where he didn't get a pass right.
See, that's how you do it, Brad. You see, get Terry on your side there. Just come up with a proper rating. I jest. Okay. Look, we missed him out. Don't know why he's further down. James Justin. He got forward. He bled blood for the team. Oh, is it clock time?
Yeah.
It's an 8 for me for James Justin.
Our attacking side was the left side, most notably with Barnes and Justin. Look, he didn't make every pass available to him, and not every pass worked. But I would agree with an 8. I was thinking a 9, but I would give him a 9 on the same reasons that you wanted to give Soyuncu a 10. I think he was great. I think he really tried, but it didn't quite work out just as well. But he is worthy, in my opinion, of getting an 8. Again, on another day, a couple of passes go better, and he maybe does something different, and he gets the 9. For me, an 8's a fair enough shout.
Yeah. Dewsbury Hall taken off. I couldn't decide when I wanted Inacho to come on. I couldn't decide whether it was Barnes or Dewsbury Hall that I wanted to come off. But at least, you know, he was getting into their box, Barnes, and for the want of a touch or a deflection, who knows? But for me, it's a 6. I've got to be honest with you for Dewsbury Hall on this one.
I can't believe this. This could be a perfect show because, I overruled on 1, didn't I?
In fairness, I was giving somebody a maximum 10. You know.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm kind of letting sentiment stop me dropping this to a 5 because he seemed a bit cagey. I think this was the first time I think Dewsbury Hall was a little bit vulnerable on the ball because he didn't get it as often.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with Gray. I'm gonna drop this to a 5.
Ooh.
He came off. You know, we talked about Dennis Pratt, who I think maybe feels he should have come on and got some minutes after his performances.
Yeah.
We talked about where does he fit in. You know, last year Madison got dropped to kind of build his confidence and work on something on the training ground and get him going again, and had to work for his team, his place back. I like Dewsbury Hall, but the last couple of games, his commitment and effort's there. I'm not questioning that, but what he's doing on the ball hasn't been as eye-catching.
I'll take it down to a 5. We're not a million miles out of each other's. You know.
No, we're not. To be fair.
Wolves has been a red card at Wolverhampton.
Costa's headbutted a fan. Go on, tell me it's Costa who's headbutted somebody.
Costa has been sent off.
Yeah. What happened?
He clashed with Ben Mee on the edge of the area. They were checking it for a red card. Costa has gone. He's walked. I think it's probably a little bit too late to affect the game. I'm guessing that was anyway. It's not going to be a penalty because I'm guessing if it was Ben Mee, it was at the end. You know,
unless it was a corner.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's no talk of a penalty. And Villa's finished 4-0 to Newcastle. Well done, Newcastle.
You let me down. I wanted 6 or 7 just for a laugh. But
what a shame. What a shame. Pratt needs to come in. I'm honest with you. I think Pratt, he will when Tielemans goes. I think that's when we'll see him be a regular starter.
Possibly.
You know, yeah.
But I think Dewsbury Hall's leaving an opportunity. And again, this is a nice headache for Brendan, and it's motivation extra for players. Because if Dewsbury Hall does lose his place against Everton to Dennis Pratt, he's going to think, oh, all right, yeah, okay. You know, I do need to get back to it. What do I need to work on? And he'll work on it in a training ground and wait for his opportunity to come again. So, you know, I'm not going to keep my boyhood hero glasses on. He gets a 5. So that's why I give him that.
Yeah. Madison, you know what? If it was the Battle of Madison against Grealish, I'm sorry, but I've got to say Grealish comes out on top.
Nowhere near on top.
Yes, because
no, never.
No. Let me finish here.
Go on. I want to hear it.
Let me finish. because as I'm sat watching it, and that's all I'm doing. I'm not at the ground, not seeing what's going on off the pitch. Is who had more influence on the game? And I'm sorry, but it was Grealish. Yes, he goes down easier than a woman, a prostitute on double time on a Friday night. Yes, Mr. Socks won't, they can't get a pair that fits him. But he was having a go. And it's not Maddison's fault. It's just the same problem with Tielemans. They weren't being allowed. Brentford's finished 1-1 with Wolves. He wasn't being allowed to get into the game. And for that reason, he's getting a 6 from me.
I see. I wouldn't argue with the rating, but I would say, what would I rate Grealish? And I would have gave Grealish a 5 today.
Ooh, wow.
I don't think he was that brilliant. I think Leicester dealt with him well. We saw his hand.
No. Leicester dealt with him well. Yeah. I would not argue with that at all.
I get what you're saying, though. I do get what you're saying.
He was involved so much more.
Yes, but that's what's expected of him. James Maddison is like the guy who's to unlock the door. He's the guy to be in and around Vardy and Daka and Achu or whatever, to be there to latch onto these chances or drive at Man City or whoever we're playing. And even though today he didn't exactly go to plan for him in some aspects, one thing that Jack Grealish tried that Maddison has on toast much better than him is he's a wiggly worm and he wins free kicks. He's clever. He gets the decision. He gets you higher up the pitch quicker. He unlocked a few passes forward today. And he had some stray passes and it didn't, like I said, it didn't quite work out. Honestly, I think he was more effective for Grealish with what he was limited in able to do. I agree with the 6, but personally, me, maybe it was a stretch saying he was by a country mile when I go 6 and 5. But I think in terms of what they tried to do and what they actually were able to do for their team, Maddison created more, or at least led the potential to create more with winning a free kick in their half, getting a free kick on the byline, and that's what you can. That's all you can do in his position: create or make chances. And in a game where we knew before kickoff, regardless of how we went about it or how Man City played, we were going to be very limited to chances. We got a few dead balls out of the situation and caused them a few stirs in the box, and that's what Maddison was on there to do. So that's why I'd say he was better than Grealish.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Jamie Vardy. I'm sorry, it's got to be a 5. He just was not involved at all, whether that's his problem or the way that we're playing. I mean, for your main man, and he is our main man, not to have a touch for the first 20-odd minutes is just not good enough, and I can only give him 5.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not good enough, but again, you have to read the game and the occasion, and people probably get sick of me saying it, but it's factual and it's what's in front of us. And you saw Jamie Vardy was playing a lot of football, or trying to play a lot of football in Leicester's own half. He was forced not to eat. And again, Man City take the credit for that because they weren't allowing us to exploit Jamie Vardy for what we can do, and that is play on the last line of defence, knock a ball onto him, and he'll trust himself to beat someone like Stones in a foot race to get to a ball over the top. These are the games where sometimes it just doesn't happen, and unfortunately for Jamie Vardy, Leicester might to get the ball to him more than they did and managed to. It didn't happen for him today, so yeah, it's a 5, mate.
Yeah, we agree. Wow.
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
Harvey Barnes, 7 from me. You could argue, well, he's too greedy, blah, blah, but he was having a go.
Yeah.
And to me, before the substitutions, and you could argue afterwards, he was the main attacking threat for us.
He was, and whilst I'm still not saying I don't think he was actually that selfish today. You want a player in his form, of his confidence and his ability to take them opportunities when they're presented to you, especially again when you're playing an opposition such as we did today, where the opportunities you're expecting the opportunities to be of a premium, and again they were. I'm going to give him a 6 though, because whilst them opportunities are a premium, and I'm sat here giving them a 6, thinking, do I have to be overcritical or very critical of a defeat? And I suppose what I'm trying to do is balance it out and look at the small areas that we need to be improving on. Because whilst it was good in the way we did things at certain points in the game, in terms of how we defended set pieces, we defended the defensive line, we restricted them to shooting outside the box, them opportunities were a premium, and he was just found being a little bit indecisive when he was inside the box. A few chances got away from him. He did make the wrong decision. I agreed with, I can't remember who it was, and apologies, but whoever said it in the comments earlier in the show. And for me, if I'm going to be uber critical, which Brendan will be in his overall fallout from the game when he speaks to them, probably either individually or after the game as he did, he would have been asking Harvey to have been a bit more cleaner in his movement, a bit more decisive in his decision making, because in the first half he didn't quite get it, and that's why I just want to drop him one. A good performance, but I think if you're going to critique the players, you got to give it what it is, and that's why I want to say.
Very quickly doing the substitutes all together. It's always harder to do the substitutes because they don't get that long on. Mendy, for me, a 6. He didn't do anything wrong apart from give away the free kick. But like I say, a Mendy that's been on the pitch for 70 minutes doesn't do that. Daka, 5 for me, didn't really do anything better than Vardy did. Inacho at least was having a go at 6. Now, I don't know if you agree with all of those. I'm just going to put my light on, but see what you think about those.
I think the only thing I'd do in a game situation like this is like when we took on subs in the last 5 minutes, I kind of give them all the same sort of number. And I'd give Daka a 6, because even though he didn't do more than Vardy in a sense of run about and get the ball, was pressing. He gave us what we needed at that time. And I'm not saying Jamie Vardy couldn't have done that, because he was doing that most of the game. But when we had the 2 strikers, and it was easier to press with the numbers because we had 2 forwards already holding the high line, I think what was asked and required, I mean, he had a chance late on that could have got us a point. I'd give them all a 6. Okay. Just on that basis. But yeah, Ian Nacho scuffed a few chances. He could have hit a bit more cleanly, but he did create, and I'd give you that. And I could see why maybe some people might give him an extra mark. But overall, they tried. They gave it their all, just a bit rough around the edges from all of them, really. And again, Leicester in the first half, Leicester seems to take 5 minutes to grow into a game. So it's no surprise that Mendy came on as an individual and was a bit rushed and a bit, he's just unfortunate that one of the few mistakes, he's the one that gets punished the most because it led to a goal.
Well, we've had a look at the player ratings. I think now we should have a look at our ratings, because this is how we did on the old score predictions.
Oh God, Bennett, this will be miserable. Look at that. Yeah. Look, all the white there.
You've got one spot on there with the 1-0 to Man City. You and me got a point with Tottenham beating Bournemouth. Obviously, there was no way that Steve would have got a point with, obviously, he'll never go for Tottenham. Nobody got the Wolves Brentford being a draw. Nobody got Brighton in for or even beating Chelsea. 1-0 to Crystal Palace. No, but we all went for a draw. And 4-0. You and me and Steve got the Newcastle Villa. You went for a draw.
Yeah, what was I thinking? What was I on that day?
I always do that myself. When I go back and I look at them, I'm thinking like, what the hell was I doing? Where did that result come from? And of course, the other thing we can have a look, and I don't think I've got it actually. I haven't. Let me just see if I can just very, very quickly upload this.
I don't think I did myself any favours in the football one, did I?
Well, yeah, the Xbox one.
Yeah.
There we go. You and me got no points. Everybody else got a point.
Oh, well, I'd rather get no points and have faith in the team than them lot.
Exactly. We were the true supporters. Well, in fairness, Brad, when I say we are the true supporters, I don't know after that Nottingham Forest prediction.
I know, I can't believe you went 0-0 for them in one of your games. I went for a draw as well. I knew you threw that out, and I'd remind you that you did it as well, because you did your own research. Yeah, you cheeky little... And watch your games now, sir. Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, it's one of them, wasn't it? Arsene Wenger in there.
I was just saying that to make you feel better, so that you
I
didn't
know
get
you
those
were,
reviews.
It didn't know. And then so dirty for giving Forest an opportunity.
Top 10 battles. That is your website, so that is where people can find you. The link is in the description below. You did goalkeepers this week. You go in, was it right back or left back?
No, it's the whole back line. That's
the whole back line.
Yeah,
wow.
So we're not just doing centre backs, we're doing centre backs, left backs, right backs, left wing backs, left right backs. And it's me, Dan, and Anthony will be on. And if you want to check out our goalkeepers, link in the description, click it. And if you're new, click subscribe. But we will be doing we're working our way up the field, Chris. The idea is we're going to do the whole defence for variety, because obviously we could, if you want to put Arnold in your list when you come on the show, join in.
It would be a very long series if you did every.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We want to make it. We don't want to limit it in the choices of Paul. I'd like to give them all, because it makes you think of players that you want maybe an overall top 10. And we're going to work our way up through the week. So if you like that sort of thing, check us out. But before you go, make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to Leicester Till I Die if you are new.
Yes, and that full-time focus, of course, is your
Yes,
Twitter.
That's where you'll find me if you're struggling.
And let me just end with this, because Thursday, of course, it was the sad anniversary of our ex-chairman's passing. Whatever we sit here and we are able to talk about Leicester being in the Premier League. We are able to talk and say, like, well, that was a rubbish game, because we compare it to, the Championship winning year, the Premier League winning year, the FA Cup winning year, and that is all down to not just Top, because not just Vichai, but Top's carrying it on. But it was Vichai that laid the seeds, and we would be nothing if it wasn't for that guy. So, like it says there, always in our hearts, definitely 100% always Vichai. Rest in peace, and thank you so much, a million times from a grateful club.
Yeah, definitely. And long may it continue like it seems to under his son now in charge.
Fingers crossed. Message me when you get a chance about the stat show. I'm starving. I'm going to go off now and have a full English. So yeah. I will speak to you soon. As always, okay, we lost, but that I suppose there's never a nice loss. But if you want to see me, catch me on, excuse me, Dug Out Football Channel, as in DOUG, Dug Out Football Channel, 7:15. One job again, Liverpool. You failed it last time. One job today to keep Leeds below us. Let's see if you can do it. Brad, thank you so much, mate. Take care.
Buddy. Take care, mate.
Thanks to Brad. We definitely need to get him doing these stats again. But thank him for today and everything he did. Indeed, thank you very much, Doug. I'm edging there closer like a snail. But thank you, Doug. I will see you at 7:15. I need to eat. I haven't all day. So, and yeah, great. See you later for the Liverpool game. That is the channel you need there. You can see it there, the Dugout Football channel. That is where we're going to be, 7:15. Hopefully, seeing Leeds with their one job, Liverpool with their one job, keeping Leeds underneath. They failed against Forest, and I'm not going to let you forget it, Doug. So let's see if you can get us back and do us a favour against Leeds. Take care, everybody. Thank you. It was a loss, but I suppose as losses go, it was one of the nicer ones. 1-0. Well done, guys. And I'll see you tonight or tomorrow on the radio, 9 o'clock, mixcloud.com, or one word, mixcloud.com/LTID radio. Good night. Stay safe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Remember, don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy. Good night.
That's all, folks.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Leicester Till I Die